Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the class. I hope you all are safe and healthy too. So, in this session 9, as the last class of the derivative chapter, we are going to discuss few important and you may also it's called higher order thinking skill questions which are frequently asked in boards. So, hence, you need to practice a lot these questions thoroughly. So in this session today we are going to discuss 8 sums and their question number is also written on the board in a sequence. So let's have a discussion directly with the sums. Okay. So what is the question number 14 in the test book given? X into under root of 1 plus y into under root of 1 plus x is equal to 0, where x is given lies between minus 1 to 1. Then prove that derivative of this function is minus 1 upon 1 plus x the whole square. The first and the most important thing that to before you start the derivative, if you go with the a simple simplification to make it simple function, then you will be able to solve the question very smartly. Here it is possible. It looks like right, y cannot be expressed in terms of x or x cannot be expressed in terms of y, but when you solve this question you will be able to express y in terms of x in terms of y. Okay, so it looks like implicit function but it become basically explicit function. For that you need to simplify it little bit. That is a regular one. If under roots are there, will taking the squaring on both the side to make the function simple and then go for derivative. Let's have a look on this. So given function is this, so I am just taking this function as x into under root of 1 plus y is equal to minus under root of 1 plus x. Now if I do the squaring on both the sides, squaring on both the sides. So if I do this, what you will say? X square into 1 plus y is equal to y square into 1 plus x. And simply do the multiplication. X square into x square y is equal to y square into y square x. Then group the terms very smartly here. So if I group the terms like x square minus y square is equal to y square x minus x square y. So now I can use an identity to factorize it, x plus y into x minus 1. Here I can take xy as a common factor, so y minus x is a factor left. Now I can take minus common here to cancel the terms on either side, right? So I am taking minus common from this factor, it becomes x minus y. Then these two factors are get cancelled. This is the important key point of the entire solution. If a child is doing in this manner, then he is able to solve the question within a fraction of seconds. Otherwise, he may get into just what we called that complicated solutions. So please try to avoid and be focused on those sums which are very tricky to solve. Okay, and make a star to the questions. Yeah, what left with x plus y is equal to minus xy. Now, if you observe, it becomes explicit function. You may write x in terms of y in terms of x, or you may directly solve both the side by taking derivative. But what we have here, we require the derivative of the function purely in terms of x. So that is why we need to express first the given function as y in terms of x. So first I will try to write like y plus xy equal to minus x. Then I can take y as a common factor. So 1 plus x is equal to minus x, y equal to minus x by 1 plus x. So I have expressed first y in terms of x, that is explicit function. Now I can go for derivative to get the answer. That is simply the quotient rule, u by v rule. That is dy by dx is equal to the denominator square, that is 1 plus x the whole square, and then v into u dash, that is minus x dash, minus of minus x into 1 plus x the whole dash. So it becomes minus 1. So 1 plus x into minus 1, it becomes plus x. Derivative of this function is 1 by 1 plus x the whole square. When you multiply by minus 1, so minus 1 minus x plus x get cancelled by here, and you are able to get the answer. It's so simple to do the derivative if you go with the simplification part of this question, right? Otherwise, it become a very complicated one. You need a lot of things to do to get the final desired answer. So this is one of the way. Now, from this question, we may also learn, see how the answers may vary. See, this is the simplified expression you got first. From, you can say it is result number 1. So what I did from this result, first I have expressed y in terms of x to get the desired answer. This is one result. Now I can also speak here, if I solve x in terms of y, x is a function of y, then you will get different answer. See, if I group the x terms first, like x into sorry, x plus xy is equal to minus y. If I take x as a common factor, what you will get? Minus y. Then x is equal to minus y by 1 plus y. So if you do the derivative of this function, what you will get? Simply just imagine with respect to y. So dx by dy is equal to, what you will get? 1 plus y the whole square. And here, if you simplify further, so 1 plus y into minus y the whole dash minus of minus y into 1 plus y the whole dash. Correct? So in this manner, it will be minus 1. So minus 1 minus y, then plus derivative of this function with respect to y is 1 into plus y. So plus y minus y get cancelled. Then what you will get? Answer as minus 1 upon 1 plus y square. This is dx by dy answer. But in the same manner, if I want to get dy by dx, it is simply the reciprocal of dx by dy. So answer would be minus 1 into 1 plus y square. So it's all depend whether you want to get the answer in terms of y or you are required the answer in terms of x. It depends whether I need y in terms of x in terms of y. So this is all about the simplification part of the question. If you go with the direct derivative of this function, now you can see if I go with the direct derivative either side, what I am going to get, right? Simply do the derivative of this equation with respect to x. So what you will get here, first x plus y the whole dash is equal to minus xy the whole dash, correct? Now simply derivative of x is 1 and derivative of y is dy by dx is equal. Now you have to apply the product rule. So x into dy by dx uh, plus y into x derivative is 1. Now group the like terms one side, that is dy by dx terms, and take common. You will get 1 plus x is equal to y minus 1. So your answer would be dy by dx is equal to y minus 1 by 1 plus x. So now you just tell me how many answers you are getting from the common result in terms of purely x, in terms of purely y, or in terms of x and y both. Now it is just like a junction. Student how he is proceeding with. He is directly doing the derivative of this equation. He is going to get this equation like this. If his person is student is expressing y in terms of x, he will be getting the answer in terms of x. If the student is expressing x in terms of y, then he is going to get the answer dy by dx as this. But you can remember the derivative of the function is always unique. It may not vary from student to student because you are finding the derivative means you are finding the derivative of the function at a given point. Hence, this derivative, all these answers must be coincide. Though it is looking like a different answers, right? Only the need is just you need to convert one term into other term. That is a different aspect. Just I wanted to convey through this solution is there are several answers may possible from the same question. It depending on how they are asking the dy by dx answer either in terms of x or in terms of y or in terms of x and y both. Okay. So now let's have the next question, that is question number 15. Yeah. That question which is done 14 is done. Now we are going to move question number 15. And what is that 15th question we have? This is a question you could say it has been asked many times in boards, right? 4 marker question. Sometimes, right? It may asked in 6 marker question, right? So it depending on the examiner, जो भी होगा paper pattern, right? If the question is x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square equal to c square, right? And where c is greater than 0, which is given, right? But then you have to prove that. What we have to prove that, yeah, I'm writing like 1 plus dy by dx, I'm writing as y dash square whole to the power of 3 by 2 by y double dash is a constant, is a constant independent of a and b. It means that when we substitute y double dash, that is double derivative answer, and single derivative answer in this expression after simplification, in that simplification, it should be a constant, and that constant does not involve the variables a and b, or constants a and b. So that we called as independent of a and b. Right? There should not be a and b in the answer, and that must be a constant, right? So let's first focus on this equation. You may remember forever then. It is simply the equation of circle whose center is a comma b, whose radius is c units. You have studied this equation of circle in conic section, 11th standard conic section, that if the center of the circle is a comma b and radius is c unit, then equation of the circle is given by x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square equal to c square. So this is the equation of circle. When you do the derivative of this equation of circle, you will get y dash and y double dash. Then substitute these y dash and y double dash over here to simplify further, and you will see the answer, how magical answer you are going to get. It's so interesting and so simple, right? Let's have a direct derivative, do the derivative on both the side, right, with respect to x. So I'm doing the differentiation of this function with respect to x. So simply, it is in the form of x square, hence its derivative is 2 times of x, that is this one, into the derivative of x minus a. That is what we are following. We are following the chain rule over here. Similarly, it is in the form of again x square. So first it is 2x derivative into the derivative of y minus b, and derivative of c square is 0 since it's a constant. Now you can take 2 as a common factor and that will vanishes, hence it is being eliminated here. So now x minus a into the derivative of this function is 1, because x derivative is 1, a is constant, so x derivative is 0, plus y minus b into derivative of y is dy by dx, rest is 0 equal to 0. Now finally what I got here, dy by dx as I can take like minus of x minus a upon y minus b. You may adjust this minus sign simply by multiplying the factor inside, but I am not disturbing this. I wanted to keep the terms in the form x minus a y minus b as it is purposely. So this is what the result number 1 I got. Now I also require double derivative, hence I need to do the derivative of this function once again with respect to x. Again I am doing the derivative of this function. So it is dy by dx. So if I do the derivative on both the sides, then it becomes d square y by dx square. So instead of writing dy by dx, for sake of convenience, I am writing it as y dash. Dy by dx can also written as y dash. Now, if I do the derivative on the both the side, I am getting here y dash derivative is y double dash equal to, I need to apply the quotient rule over here. I am applying that. So y minus b the whole square, then the derivative of this y minus b into, I can keep the sign minus outside, and x minus a the derivative minus x minus a into derivative of y minus b. I just applied the quotient rule over here. So y double dash equal to, now minus of y minus b into derivative of this function is 1, minus of x minus a into derivative of this function is y dash upon y minus b the whole square. Now y double dash equal to, now I can simplify further by substituting the value of y dash over here. This is a turning point of the solution or hint where you need to remember if you substitute the y dash value over here, then this will be a very easiest question for you, right? So you need to remember this type of hints in between the solutions. So what is the y dash value we have? Y dash value is minus of x minus a by y minus b. Just I am doing that only. See, minus y minus b into minus x minus a. So I am substituting the value of dy by dx, which is taken from equation 1, as minus of x minus a upon y minus b. So now this minus and minus multiplied become plus x minus a into x minus a the whole square, and LCM would be y minus b. So finally what I am going to get after taking an LCM and all, that y minus b whole cube, it becomes minus of y minus b whole square plus x minus a the whole square. Correct. So now just what I am doing here, look at that. Mm, yeah. So this is what I got the y double dash answer. Then I am substituting now this y dash and y double dash answers in the expression. So please remember, I am directly writing this y dash and y double dash in this equation, and you will see the change in that solution. Right. Okay. Let me check before I proceed with whether it is a correct one or is there any uh, calculation error from my side. Let me cross check. Yeah, it's correct. Dx would be minus of x minus a by pi minus b. U into b dash minus 2b dash. Correct. So d would be this, and this would be of minus of x minus a minus of minus plus x minus a whole square by pi minus b. Yeah, right. I think it should be like positive y minus b whole square, but we are not getting over here. Something has to be done. Hmm. Okay. If we are not able to get the answer, I need to correct somewhere else. Let's first cross check ourselves whether it is simplifiable or not. Otherwise, is there any change in the question? I need to go for it. Check. Simply substitute these values in the expression. You can see 1 plus what is the y dash value we have? This one. But we required y dash square. Y dash square value is squaring on both the sides. So it would be x minus a the whole square by y minus b the whole square whole to the power of 3 by 2 upon y double dash answer I am writing minus of y minus b the whole square plus x minus a the whole square upon y minus b the whole cube. Correct? So if you just take the LCM over here in the numerator part, it becomes like y minus b the whole square plus x minus a the whole square upon y minus b the whole square and whole to the power of 3 by 2 upon, this is what we have here. I think there should be a change in the question, then only we will be able to get the proper answer. This minus has to be adjusted somewhere else. It has to be c square. If it is there, then minus will be go in denominator. Yeah, then only the factor comes like mm, mm, v into minus 1. Yeah, minus x minus a into y minus b. Yeah, positive. It has become positive. This is adjustable. I think there is a change in the question. Definitely, it would be like x minus a whole square minus y minus b whole square is equal to c square. then only it would be reducible. Otherwise, it seems like impossible to reduce the expression, right? Mm, let me check. Let me check. Fine. Just I'm continuing over here. Let's see how much it has been simplified again. There might be a change in the question or in the solution accordingly where I have committed the mistake. Nothing has been done. There is a mistake in my solution, but still, I won't be able to reduce it because the numerator part is simplified, but the denominator part is not able to simplify. We'll see. Now you can see this part. Which one I'm talking about? Numerator part here. This can be reduced. This can be reduced with c square. Okay, so it is taken from the question itself. This entire part is replaced with c square. So then it becomes what? C square upon y minus b the whole square whole to the power of 3 by 2 as it is upon the denominator part as it is. There is no change in that. Now open this exponent and distribute to the numerator as well as denominator. Square will get cancelled. It reduced to c cube upon y minus b the whole cube upon the denominator we have. Now, yeah, I'm writing the part minus of y minus b whole square plus x minus a the whole square upon y minus b the whole cube. So denominator also get cancelled. We are left with c cube upon this expression. Now the question is how you will be able to reduce this expression, right, to in terms of c, because we are having this, and there is no way to do that. If I do the squaring here, no possibility at all. Yeah, so there might be a glitch in the question or in the solution or in both. I need to cross verify the question once again, right? So if there is a fault in the question, then I will definitely re-explain the question in another mode. So I'm just leaving this solution over here. Please look into this question once again from your side, right? So just go with the now the next question without wasting our time. That is question number 16. Yeah, question number 16. The question is like here, if cos y is equal to x into cos of a plus y, right? And where cos a is not equal to, where cos of a constant value is not equal to plus minus 1, to define the function, then prove that is dy by dx answer is cos square of a plus y upon sine a. So this is what the answer we require. If you look at this answer, we require the answer in terms of purely y. So that is why I can first convert this question x in terms of y. This is the logic behind to think why I am modifying the question, because in this dy by dx answer we required only y terms. So that is why I am writing smartly this equation as x is equal to cos y upon cos of a plus y. So if I convert like this, now I am differentiating this equation with respect to y. If I do the derivative of this function with respect to y, what I am going to get dx by dy is equal to, apply the quotient rule over here. So cos square of a plus y upon, sorry here, cos of a plus y into derivative of cos y, then minus cos y into derivative of cos of a plus y. This is. Now simply do the derivative, dx by dy equal to, cos y derivative is what? Minus sin y. So minus cos of a plus y into sin y minus cos theta derivative is again minus sin theta, it becomes plus. So cos y into sin theta a plus y into the derivative of this function is 1 because constant derivative is 0, derivative of y is 1. So I am doing that part upon cos square of a plus y. So now if you look into the numerator part, it is basically identity sin a cos b plus cos a, sorry, minus cos a sin b. I am writing the identity here. It is in the form of sin a cos b minus cos a sin b, which can be reduced into sin of a minus b. So by using this identity, I can simply write the numerator as dx by dy equal to minus, sorry, sine of a minus b, that is a plus y, that is a minus b. I have just applied the identity in the numerator, denominator is as it is. Plus y minus y get cancelled. We are getting sin a by cos square a plus y as dx by dy. But we are looking that dy by dx, it's simply the reciprocal of each other. So you can say here, if this is dx by dy, simply the dy by dx would be cos square of a plus y upon sine over. So you got the final answer which we desired in terms of y. So this is a logic I have used in the beginning of the solution where I have expressed the given question as x in terms of y to get the derivative purely in terms of y. So this is my strong intuition before we start the question. So you can use this technique right whenever and wherever it is required. Sir, can we move with the direct differentiation? Yes, of course, you can. But again, you need to use some logics to reduce the answer to get the desired answer. Right? So there are several ways to deal with the question. The only choice is how smartly you are presenting it. So that matters a lot. Now take the next one. Question number 17. Yeah. So question number 17. What is that? If x is a function a into cos t plus t into sin t and y is a function a into sin t minus t into cos t, and you need to find y double dash. That's it. That is d square y by dx square. Now let's check how we will get. Now first have a look over the question. Do you remember we have studied the parametric form of the equations where x and y, both the variables, are expressible in terms of the same variable, that is t. If x and y are expressible in common variable, then this form is called parametric form. So in parametric form, you may do the derivative of the both the function with respect to a common parameter, and then thereafter we'll get dy by dx. Just go to the process. So I am differentiating both the equation with respect to t. So I am writing the common statement. Differentiate with respect to t. So what I am going to get? So dx by dt, by keeping the constant outside the derivative, derivative of cos t is minus sin t, and here it is a function of u into v, that is product rule I need to apply to do the derivative. So t into derivative of sin t is cos t plus sin t into derivative of t is 1. So this is what the answer, and minus t plus t get cancelled. So finally I am getting dx by dt as minus a into t cos t. Result number 1. Then go with derivative of this function with respect to t. So dy by dt equal to a into derivative of sin t is cos t minus, now derivative of again this function in the form of product of two variables, you need to apply product rule. So t into derivative of cos t is minus t minus sin t. So t into minus sin t plus cos t into derivative of t is 1. That's it. So now just multiply inside cos t, right? Minus into minus plus t sin t minus cos t. Plus t cos t get cancelled, at sin t. Result number 2. So this is dx by dt and this is dy by dt. Now I am looking for dy by dx. So hence dy by dx, it's simply nothing but dy by dt upon dx by dt. What is dy by dt? At sin t upon minus at cos t. So at get cancelled. So finally I am getting dy by dx is equal to minus tan t. This is result number 3. So this is the first derivative answer I got. But I required the double derivative. Now see the important aspect of this question. Take again the derivative with respect to x. Now I am doing the derivative with respect to x because I required d square y by dx square. So if I do that, this become what? Y double dash equal to minus derivative of tan t is sec square t into dt by dx. So this is a key factor of this entire solution. Generally what I observed, right, during last 10 years I can say, the students generally forgetting this, writing this differential coefficient, they simply declaring y double dash is minus x square t. So this is a point you need to remember. So you require dt by dx, and where you will get it, this dt by dx, from the equation 1. So in equation 1 we have dx by dt. By reciprocaling this differential coefficient, you will be able to get. So hence, from result number 1, I can replace this minus x square t into, this answer would be 1 upon minus at cos t. So this I have obtained from result number 1. So minus into minus plus, So y double dash equal to, you may also write cos t in terms of sec, that is reciprocal of cos is sec. So finally you will get sec cube t upon at. So this would be the answer, that is double derivative. So in entire solution, the clue point or glitch where the student may committed the mistakes, that is dt by dx, right? And he generally ignoring or forgetting writing the dt by dx. And this value is obtained from the result number 1 to get the final answer. चलिए. So I hope it is interesting and easy to remember. Now let's have a discussion on question number 18. Yeah, what is that? Question number 18 is simply, if the given function f of x is mod x cube, f of x is equal to mod x cube, then like show that f double dash x is exist for all real x, for all x belongs to real number, and find it. Yeah, first simply we'll do the derivative of the function twice and then we will conclude the statement. Now since it's a modulus function, before doing the derivative of this function, you may write the nature of this function according to the value of x. This can be written as, that is what I would say, mod x cube will be x cube when x is greater than or equal to 0. It is minus x cube when x is less than 0, according to the definition of modulus function. Now simply go with the derivative of the function. So when you are doing the derivative of modulus function, means you are doing the function derivative in two different cases, where x is a 0 or greater than 0, where x is less than 0. So simply do the derivative of this function. It will be 3x square when x is greater than or equal to 0, minus 3x square when x is less than 0. Now simply f double dash x, the derivative of this function, it becomes 6x and x greater than or equal to 0 minus 6x where x is less than 0. Now you would say double derivative answer is exist where x is greater than or equal to 0, that is for every positive real number answer is exist, and for every negative real number also it is exist. So you would say here f double dash x is exist for all x belongs to real numbers, hence proved. It's so simple to write and express. Since it's a modulus function, it has to be dealt in two different cases, where x is positive, that is positive real number greater than 0, where x is less than 0. Nothing else. Rest part is similar, right? You can go with this way directly. It looks so simple and expressive and a self-explanatory thing. Now let's have a discussion on question number 21. Yeah, question number 21. What is that question they're asking? They're asking simply a theoretical question here. There are several answers for this question. Does there exist a function which is continuous everywhere but not differentiable at exactly 2 points? Justify your answer. What they're asking, we need to find out a function which has to be continuous in its domain, but it is not differentiable at two distinct points, right? So there is a function, I'm simply giving one function here you can just go with this. F of x is mod x where x is less than 0. This is only the half portion will cover out, and 2 minus x is another function where x is greater than or equal to 0. So if you plot this function, uh, here I would say, like I'm taking, there are several functions you can take. Modulus of x minus 2. I'm taking the two different modulus function, the combination of different modulus function where I'm just trying to join these two functions, right? Mm, that you will see when you plot this function properly. So these two functions are continuous, right? When you plot these function for positive real numbers, sorry, for negative real numbers, the half of this graph will come, and rest for positive real numbers, take this graph. Now you can see the graph is continuous and it takes two short turns, right, where the function is not differentiable. Just go with the graph and you can explain, yeah, in this given domain the function is continuous but the function is not differentiable. You will get the graph like this. See, simply I'm explaining here. This is the first function. This is modulus function where x is less than 0, half of the function. And if you plot this function where x is positive, you will be getting like, right. So in this way you will getting the function. The graph is continuous but it is not differentiable at these two corners, that is 0 and what we called as 2. So these are the 2 points where the graph takes the short chunk which is not differentiable, but in its entire domain the graph is continuous. In this manner you may set infinitely many what we call the functions, right? So in your thought process, if you have any different kinds of function you may take, but take the combination of both modulus function and keep one modulus function for the negative real numbers, and take another modulus function which is for the what we call the positive real number, and try to join both the functions at a common point, right? I kept 0 as a common point so that the both the graphs can be connected through 0, that is through origin. That is the aspect. So you may go with the graph and you can explain it, right? It is continuous function but it is not differentiable. So one of the way. Now coming to the next question, number 22. Question number 22. What is this question number 22? It's simply the determinant of 3 by 3 matrix. If y is equal to determinant of f of x, g of x and h of x, and L, M, N, A, B, C are the constants, these are the function of x, then prove that dy by dx is equal to derivative of f function f dash x, g dash x, h dash x, and these are remain same element A, B and C. That's it. So I think it's so simple. You know how to do the derivative of determinant. So basically, if you do the derivative determinant, so we can do a derivative of each row or each column at a time by keeping other two rows same. So if I go with the derivative by row wise, first I will do the derivative of row 1 by keeping other two rows constant, plus then I will go with the derivative of second row by keeping other two rows constant, and then derivative of third row by keeping the other two rows remain same. So y dash, that is dy by dx, is nothing but simply its derivative of first row, that is f dash x, g dash x, h dash x, by keeping the other two rows undisturbed, plus, and then second time second row, derivative of L, derivative of M, derivative of N, rest is same, plus, now f of x, g of x, h of x, L, M, and undisturbed, and derivative of A, B, and C. And since Lmn are the constants, their derivative becomes 0 here. And here also the ABC are constant, derivative of these three values is 0. And the determinant value is 0 if the entire row is zeros or entire column is having zeros. Hence, the determinant value of this and this becomes 0, only we are left with this, that is your answer. It's so simple. So this is a way to do the derivative of the determinant. So determinant derivative means only do the derivative of a single row or a single column at a time, and just go on with each and every row. If it is of 4 by 4, 4 determinants will be there. If it is of 2 by 2, only 2 determinants are there, depending on the number of rows and columns. Fine. So now let's have the last question, that is example number 48. This is example number now 48. What is this? See here, example number 48 says differentiate sine square x with respect to e to the power of cos x. Now just have a look what is this question says. Here we need to differentiate one function with respect to other function. Right, sir? How it is possible? Till this day, till the time, yeah, till today, just we were doing the derivative either with respect to x or with respect to y or with respect to t, some other parameter. But here the question is asking like derivative of one function with respect to other function. How it is possible? Let's have a look over this and you will see. If there are two functions, I can name the function, right? So what I can say here, let u is a function as sine square x and v is equal to e to the power of cos x. So basically what we are looking for, derivative of u function with respect to v. This I required. Du by dv I required. And when you're writing like this is a function is u and this function is represented by v. This basically a parametric form of the equation. U and v are the two different functions in terms of x. Hence, x is a parameter over here. So, do the derivative of this function with respect to x and here also with respect to x. So, you will be able to get here du by dx answer, and like just apply the what we called as chain rule. So in the form of x squares, we will get 2 sine x and derivative of sine x is cos x. And simply here now you can take simply dv by dx. It is in the form of e power x. So derivative of e power x is e power x, and hence derivative of cos x is minus sine x. Now, how to get du by dx? Du by dv. Simply it is du by dx upon dv by dx. So, what your answer would be? 2 sine x cos x by e to the power of cos x into minus sine x. Get cancelled. Your answer is 2 cos x by e minus e to the power of cos x. So this is your du by dt over. This is your answer. So it looks like complicated one when you are reading the question how you could do the derivative of one function with respect to other function. It's basically a parametric form of equations generating, and just go with the parametric form of method to do the to get the du by dt. That's it. So that's all, my friends. So here I am winding up my session. That is the last session of the chapter derivative. So I tried my level best to make you understand the things, higher order thinking skill questions. Still, there is a question where the glitch we have found, where we are not able to reduce the answer into the simplest constant. And let me check the question first, and then I will let you know later on. Fine. Thank you for watching me since so long, and keep watching, keep growing, and keep learning. It's a never-ending process. Take care. Bye bye. See you. We'll meet in the next session with the fresh topic.